All right, Inspire Beauty, happy Monday. I am excited tonight to talk to you guys about a topic that I think all of us can relate to, but beyond just being able to relate to it, I think it's something very valuable that you can also use when you're working with clients, when you're working with your coaches that you've signed on, just in communication with others on their journey, whether it's self-care or business related as well. I think there's a lot of value to this. And I wanted to share some bits that I'm learning in this process that are helping me to improve my dialogue that I have with people, just as well as the way that I see people's journeys and kind of understand it more from a mental, psychological state of mind, rather than just making assumptions about why people make the choices they make, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to share our screen, grab our presentation. Oop, I'm on the wrong screen. Before I start, though, with Patterns of Defeat and the Power of Progress, I want to talk through a couple things that are happening in Inspire Beauty. Your last day to register for a Team Cup team is on Wednesday. Now, we already have one team going strong for Inspire Beauty, representing Inspire Beauty. I would love if we had another team representing Inspire Beauty. And if that is the case, if you have a deep desire to be on a Team Cup team, make sure that you let somebody know, because we might be able to pair you up with, any loose, one person here or two people over here. I know some friends on other teams that might need like one or two more people, right? So if that is something that you desire and we don't have 5 people on our team to be able to put together a second team by Wednesday, we can try to make that happen through our sister teams as well, and get that benefit of being a part of a Team Cup team. Keep in mind your Summit discount ticket, that $145 ticket, ends on Wednesday. It's only for the month of January that you can get that discounted Summit ticket. So if Summit is on your radar and you want to join us in Indianapolis in June, I'm getting super excited about it. But remember, that ticket, that sale price ends on Wednesday. So you've got 2 days left to snag that up. It is a major investment in your business, in your life. Charlie goes to it every year, and it doesn't matter if you work this business or not, you guys, you will walk away a better freaking human being. It is incredible. And it's a chance to hear somebody other than myself talk, as well as see how short I really am in real life, as well as meet your sisters in real life, because it's so special through a screen. And we were having this dialogue. I think Allison brought it up in the 80-day obsession group this weekend. It just talked about how it's crazy that we really, all of us don't know each other beyond the screen. And so this is an awesome, awesome opportunity to rid yourself of that and to know these wonderful human beings live and in person and get to hug and spend time with one another. I'm also going to be on the Summit page soon, trying to figure out housing and all that good stuff, and making sure that we have our week planned. I know it's only almost February, but February, June. Did you guys I just skipped all of March, April, and May, just right there. I went from February straight to June. It's Monday. Okay. No, it goes February, then March, then April, then May, but then it's June, you guys, and it's going to be here before we know it. So anyway, I'll get off my high horse about Summit. I want you there. Rock the Basics. You probably saw about an hour ago in Inspire Beauty, I shared the invite to Rock the Basics that starts on February 5th. It'll be a 3-week group in the Challenge Tracker app where you will learn the basics of building a Beachbody business. I am improving the Rock the Basics series currently. I can talk tonight. I swear I can. I am improving the series currently to mimic and kind of push ourself into a new wave of social media. It has changed since the last time I ran Rock the Basics, and so there will be improvements made to that to get you off the ground and running your business and just sharing your self-care journey on social media. If that's something you're interested in doing, make sure that you RSVP to that. I invited every personally sponsored coach of mine, and I encourage leaders on this team, if you have anyone underneath of you on your personally sponsored team, to also invite them to that. I will leave that up to you. And then our next challenge group, we kind of started and bridged the gap between the very first half of our Goddess Revolution, and now we're into the second half of the Goddess Revolution. We added in some new people today, and this week you might see some new faces getting added into that group as we're getting it off the ground running. But the next group that will begin is on February 12th, called Love the Skin You're In. It is actually my personal favorite group of the whole year, and so that's coming up. And if you know anybody who wants to be in that group, if you know anybody that would be inspired by this group or just would benefit from it, make sure that you are having those conversations now, because we have officially 2 weeks till that hits the ground running. And I love, love, love that group. It's going to be a quick one. It's going to be 3 weeks. We are skipping the prep week for that one. I think that's it. Okay, let's move into tonight. So we're talking about patterns of defeat and the power of progress. I'm going to give you a gut check. I'm loving these gut checks before we dive in, because I want you to get your head and your heart and just everything in the right spot. It's not a gut check in terms of like popping your balloon, right? I'm not trying to deflate people when I do these gut checks. The gut checks are meant to be a source of awareness, if you will, okay? So this quote I read in my personal development. I'm reading a book here. My dad actually sent it to me for Christmas. It's called Perfectly Yourself, Discovering God's Dream for You. It is a Catholic author, and it's a male author. I usually don't like reading male authors, not going to lie. I usually don't vibe with them. But I am enjoying this quite thoroughly. And it's not super, in terms of like spirituality, it doesn't really push like the Bible or push like a belief system on you, if you will. There is a little bit of scripture that he does relate back to, but it's not particularly a Bible study. It really just is talking about that you were created for greatness, and that you were created to dream big, and that you are fully capable of achieving everything that God has planned for you in this life. So, and rising to that occasion. So anyway, I was reading in Perfectly Yourself, and that's kind of where this whole Zoom and team training kind of stemmed from. And this quote really stuck out to me. Each day is an opportunity to make progress towards your vision or tread water. Now, I don't technically agree with this statement because I want to pick apart the treading water, because I believe that if you're not making progress towards your vision, you're actually not treading water and staying in one place. You're actually moving backwards in the way our world works now. I believe that in our fast-paced society, if you are standing still, you're actually falling behind because people are passing you. Okay, there's enough success for everyone. There is enough greatness for everyone, but you have to move. You have to take one step. You have to, it doesn't matter if it's a baby step, but if I sat here and I asked you right now, what progress have you made over the last year of your life? If you have to really stop and think, then you are not, in my personal opinion, giving yourself enough inventory, enough gut check, enough analysis on a personal level day in and day out. And it starts with that awareness. So we're going to talk through all of that tonight. So first I want to talk about the patterns of defeat. So people in general, you guys, they want change. I don't think there's anyone that reaches out to us about our groups or tells me they're inspired by me or says, yes, I'd love to be a coach, or joins our team that doesn't truly want some form of change. There is this hope that they've been instilled with. They have seen something in you or in me or in someone on our team. And because of that, they have this desire, this hope and longing that maybe, just maybe, they could change their current situation. We offer hope. We truly do. But why is it that not everybody does? So patterns of defeat, you guys, come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. Tonight, I'm going to talk through 3. I'm going to kind of just keep circling back to 3. But food is a big pattern of defeat. That person that clings to food for comfort and clings to every fad diet out there for punishment, and continues to go through this same loop of, on Monday, I'm starting my diet over. And they get all excited and they get all amped up. And on Monday, they're like, they go for it. And Tuesday, they're kind of but by Wednesday, Thursday, they fall off. And then they say, okay, screw it. It's the weekend. On Monday, I'll start over again. And they go through this whole loop, this cycle, this pattern of defeat. And over time, that pattern instills fear in even trying again. It instills a lot of frustration in feeling, in not actually meeting the expectations that they've laid out for themselves. And this pattern of defeat instills this idea that we've failed. Now, as a coach on our team, I hope you understand that failure is inevitably a part of success, and that failure doesn't mean you are a failure. Failure is actually a great stepping stone to improve ourselves, right? But the normal population, the people we are speaking to, the ladies we are trying to reach out to and inspire, you guys, they don't view failure like that. That pattern of defeat has reminded them over and over and over again that they are a failure. And we know that's not true, but that's how they feel, okay? With this whole idea, guys, I just want to walk you through just a little of the psychology that people kind of undergo when they're deciding to, like when they hit love on your Join My Challenge group post, or you say, I've got a new group happening, 5 spots left, and they're like, oh, me, I want in. Or you show a transformation and they're all about it, or whatever, all of that stuff, right? You explain the coaching opportunity and what it's doing to change your life, or what it has done to change your life. And that excitement. There are 5 stages that people go through. And this is kind of where the pattern of defeat hits a wall almost. And this isn't on the screen, but I want to talk you through it. So the first is the uninformed optimism. When our prospects, whether it's a client or a coach or whatever, is optimistic about joining us, they have this excitement. It is the most exciting stage you can be in, because you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, they want to be in the group. They want to join the challenge. They want to get those before and after results. There is hope. There's excitement. And that is an awesome phase. But after that phase, you guys, they go into phase 2, which becomes informed pessimism. This is where pattern of defeat, that's that wall people hit. They say, oh, wait. Okay, you want me to pay $160 and get a shake and a home workout? And you know what? I've tried something like that before. And I'm going to fail. And so they tell you, I don't have money. I don't have time. Oh, I'm already doing something. Or, I've tried that before. They give you all of their excuses. But the truth of the matter is, if we really dig deep and understand, they have what their information patterns have taught them, that this isn't going to work out. They find it's that inner mean girl that finds all of the reasons why they've failed in the past, and that frustration comes out, and that fear of failure is evident, right? And that's why people don't change. The third step that people go through, and you could be in this place, I'm certain that every one of you can tell me a time in your life when you were in that exciting first stage, right? And that second stage where you're like, oh crap, is this really what I signed up for? And then the valley of despair. This is the best one. The valley of despair is that place where you truly believe you can't do it. It's your lowest low. It's when you fell off the wagon again, or the workout was just too hard, or you really just wanted the pizza when you're out to dinner with everybody else, but you got the salad and you hate yourself because why do I have to eat the salad when everyone else is eating pizza, right? The valley of despair, you guys, is where most of our clients, most of our challengers, most of our coaches will give up. If you have a coach that has hit the valley of despair, it is so important that you don't let them give up on themselves. If you have a coach or a client in a challenge group that has hit that valley of despair where they've stopped posting, they've stopped sharing their journey, they've stopped checking into the group, they've even stopped probably answering you in messages, they are in the valley of despair. And that is where the majority of people give up. And what is super sad about that, you guys, is the next 2 stages are where magic happens. In the next stage is when we have that informed optimism. All of a sudden, I believe in myself. I believe that this program's working. Okay, in the first 2 weeks of 80-Day Obsession, that was really, really hard. But here I am in week 3 now, and you know what? I can kind of do the renegade row thing with the twist, and even though my wrists are on fire, and that band's gonna snap me in the face. But I am more informed now, and I'm feeling stronger, right? And so I have this optimism. And the final stage is that success and fulfillment. And most people won't ever get there because of these patterns of defeat. So the various patterns of defeat that everybody faces, and like I said, I'm going to really label tonight, are that food, the struggle with food and that balance of it all, right? And that guilt surrounding it. Fitness, I guarantee everyone you speak to has a pattern of defeat in their fitness journey at some point. And in our business habits, I'm certain that there are coaches on our team. And if there are coaches on our team that don't have a pattern of defeat in the business, I want to shake your freaking hand and I want to make you the leader of Inspire Beauty, because myself and I have a lot of patterns of defeat when it comes to this business. So what is my go-to pattern of defeat? When does fear set in for me? When do I get frustrated? When do I feel like a quote unquote failure, even though I know that's not the case? I think when it gets quiet, when things get hard, when the work is not as sexy as it seems to be, right? When I literally have to sit here and send another message and get a 10th no, and get that 11th no, and get that 12th no, and a 13th no, and I just don't want to hear no, right? And that's when my patterns of defeat come out. That's when I question myself. That's when I look and say, am I really good enough for this? Am I really making a difference? And so my go-to pattern of defeat isn't so much in food and fitness, but I do find myself falling into business patterns of defeat at times. And I've done it. I've hit those patterns. I've gotten to that valley of despair so many times in my business that now I know that that valley is not where I camp out. It's not where I stay. So I am confident that the valley will go away and I will get to the other side and I will come out successfully, and that it's just for a time period where it's uncomfortable, but most people don't want to feel that uncomfortable. Okay? So here's some truths to remember for yourself in this journey, is that other people before you have successfully overcome the obstacles you face. Seek them out and draw strength from their stories and example. There are people, maybe not me, and this is where it's important to connect international wake-up calls and to connect beyond just Inspire Beauty as a coach, because I'm seeing some, with the 80-day obsession test group happening, I'm seeing amazing things happening with some of our coaches. Kristen on our team, Allison on our team, and Allison, actually. Allison, Kristen. They're all reaching beyond their comfort zones on that, what is it called? The test group page. They are commenting, they're interacting. And there's other coaches too who are doing that, but these are coaches who weren't as plugged into Beachbody as they are right now. And there is some change happening in them, and it's so fun to watch. Watching Rebecca right now, there's a Diamond Dash group that we're in, that a sister team of ours is running, and we've plugged some of our coaches into that group, and Rebecca is in that group, and she is on the Saturday morning calls. She's on the Sunday morning power hours. She's asking questions. She's commenting. She's sharing what she's struggling with, and she's working on getting better, and she's drawing strength from other people. And so you have to know that there's other people. Maybe I personally don't know an obstacle you're facing because I'm not a mom yet, or I'm not working full-time 9 to 5. And so I'm not understanding your current situation of trying to balance the business part-time with that. But there are people out there that are facing the exact same obstacle and have successfully overcome it. So find them. All of your past failures, number 2, will leave you better equipped than ever before to succeed in your next attempt. So everything that stinks, right? Like every time I've gone live and it just sucked, it just made me better the next time around. Every time I've done a Zoom and nobody showed up to it and I just spoke to myself with a PowerPoint, it just made me better. That was technically a failure, right? Like my team's not showing up to Zooms. That's okay. I'm going to get better, because then when my team does show up, here I am and I'm better at it. And then they're going to be better because I'm better, right? So don't look at your failures as something that's just stopping you from ever succeeding. It's actually helping you and equipping you better in your next attempt around. But you have to be reflective about it. You can't just let a failure happen and not think about what you could do better next time, right? That's really important. And number 3, you guys, and I love this, it's so motivating for me, that it will never be easier to break that pattern of defeat than it is right now. So when our clients say, oh, I'll just start next month because I fell off the wagon and I know I'm in this group right now, but I'll start again when you guys have a fresh group. No, it'll be harder when we have a fresh group, right? It'll be harder to wait to do Summit next year than it is to just do it this year. It'll be harder to do Rock the Basics in March than it would be right now in February. it'll always be harder later. It's never easier than it is right now. So let's talk about progress. Let's talk about the power of progress. And this question stopped me dead in my tracks when I was reading it. Like I said, it came directly from this book, Perfectly Yourself by Matthew Kelly. He said, am I making progress? And it's a big question that, if you look back on a year, and I kind of posted this earlier this morning, am I better than I was a year ago in my finances, as a friend, as a partner to Charles, as a dog mom, just as a teammate, as a leader, as a coach, right? Like in all facets and areas of your life, everything that makes up you, are you making progress in all those areas? And when I read that, I kind of paused for a second and I reflected back on a year ago where I was. And I can honestly say that every area of my life, I do believe I'm making progress in. Now, is it like, did I make these giant leaps and I'm like, the best? No, but that's why I live. That's why life is still mine to have, right? I've got time. But you've got to ask yourself that. Are you making progress? Because the progress, you guys, is what brings the energy and the life into that process. The process can feel difficult. It can feel heavy. We can get caught up in that valley of despair. But if we look at the progress we've made and we stop for a moment and acknowledge that, that gives us new, fresh energy. Change, you guys, doesn't equal progress. Just because we change doesn't mean we progressed, right? Progress means that you are physically moving towards your goal. And I bring this up tonight, and I love talking about this right now because our vision boards are still pretty fresh. And I'm really proud of Mary. She commented today on the post that I had made talking about, your vision boards. And I asked the question, are you still taking actions towards those visions? And she could honestly say, yeah, I'm playing my tuba. She's been doing her hikes that she promised herself she would. She's doing 80-day obsession, like she had promised from the get-go. And so when she looks at that, she says, wow, I'm looking at my vision board and I'm making progress towards it. And I encourage you, if you haven't looked at your vision board lately, if you haven't pulled that out in a while, I encourage you to go back and look at it. Are you making progress towards the things that you put on that board that were of value to you? And remember that progress, you guys, is going to require action. We all want to be healthier and happier. I don't think there's anybody that you could turn to and say, hey, do you want to be healthier? They'd be like, sure. No, I could care less about being healthy. I want to be sick the rest of my life. And if you said to somebody, hey, do you want to be happy your whole life or do you want to be miserable? I'm pretty sure most people would say they want to be happy. Again, most people. I'm sure there's that 1% out there. And so we all have a preference, right? I'm sure everyone prefers to be healthier or happier. But preference, again, isn't enough to create change. When people say, oh, I want to be diamond. Well, that's a preference. Yeah, absolutely. You'd want to be diamond because you get more team cycle bonus and there's perks to being a diamond coach and you're beginning to become a leader. But just because you have a preference to become diamond doesn't mean that that's going to happen. Because the thing is, you have to have a deep desire. The deep desire and that deep why. And we've talked about that before. So it's just having a preference isn't enough, guys. Most everyone's going to have a preference for something better. But what separates those? Why are there some people that don't make progress, that just stay in the same place, that fall behind year after year after year? It's because they just simply have a preference to be healthier. They have a preference to be happier, but they don't actually have this deep desire and alignment of their actions to match that. The other thing is too, a lot of times people aren't stopping and celebrating their progress, and so they get frustrated, right? Maybe they are taking the actions, maybe they do have a deep desire, but they don't actually stop and smell the roses, and so it just becomes like work to them, right? And so we have to make sure that we understand that just a preference isn't enough, but even with the desire and the actions in alignment, we still have to pause and celebrate. So how does this relate to our potential clients, current challengers, maybe coaches on our team or coaches that we're going to have? Is that yes, we do offer hope, you guys, but hope doesn't create change. So remember, back into that head space of our prospects. They have that uninformed optimism. It's really exciting. But then all of a sudden, fear sets in and they're a little bit informed. And then they have this pessimism based on all their past fears and frustrations and failures. And then they hit that valley of despair where it's just a lot of work. And so what they want, you guys, is not enough. It's got to be coupled with a deep desire and action, because in this case, comfort will most always win for people. Comfort will most always win for people. You guys have to understand that. Why do people give up? Because it was more comfortable to just stay the same. Change is uncomfortable. And so we've got to understand that and sometimes put ourselves back at square one. So these are some things you can do as a coach for your challengers or for your own coaches, is to understand, first of all, their deep why, which is that desire. Remember, they can't just have that, I'm drawing a blank, they can't just have that preference. They have to have the desire, right? You know, a lot of coaches, when they sign up and I ask for their why, they'll tell me, oh, I want to help people. That's a preference. When someone tells you they just want to help people, it's a preference, you guys. That is not going to get you up on fire day after day after day after no, after no, after no, right? After someone quits, after somebody bails on you, after every valley that you hit, just wanting to help people isn't going to be enough. I promise you that. I promise you that. I've watched it time and time again. So that deep desire, that deep burning why. Another thing you can do is encourage, support, and actually push. Don't be afraid to push your challengers or your coaches. That's your job. Your job is to encourage and support and love on them. But every once in a while, you got to push them a little, because that's that action. We need that action. Remember, desire and action have to be working together. And remember that every baby step counts, so celebrate the progress. Don't allow someone to not celebrate their progress. A lot of times in a group, when I ask, you know, like, what's somebody's victory? And they'll say this, and this, but, and then they'll go on. It's like, no. That is a victory. And we will celebrate that, right? Make sure we're celebrating every small step. And it's important as a coach to always be walking in their shoes, relating, you guys, back to their fears, frustrations, failures. Sometimes we can get so caught up in our own journey and our own process and our own progress that we forget what it was like maybe to have that initial fear, right? And so it's important to go back, like, okay, when I first began as a coach, what was my fear? What did I feel frustrated with? How did I feel when I quote unquote failed at something? And how did I bridge that gap to then create maybe a success out of it? And so walking in the shoes of our challengers or our coaches is so important to do, okay? So to wrap it up, you guys, we all face patterns of defeat, inevitable. And once we understand this, you don't have to get so mad at people. Like I used to be mad at people, like, oh, why can't they just do it? Why can't they just, you know, like do the group? Come on, it's like 21 days, just do it. Like, no, but we go through these patterns of defeat, and there's just so much to everyone's history and makeup in life to get to this point that we all have different patterns that have come in to make us feel like we are a failure or to hit us with that frustration and that fear. It's important, guys, to do a daily inventory of your progress. Every night when you lay your head on your pillow, I encourage you to ask yourself, did I make progress today? Picture that vision board in your mind of 2018 and beyond, of what you truly want to manifest in your life, and say, did I make progress towards that? Did I take actions with a deep burning desire towards what I wanted? So just know, guys, awareness is key. If you're laying your head down tonight and you say, you know what, I didn't make progress towards that one goal, and you can own that, you guys, the sky's the limit. Because in the morning you can make adjustments, right? But if you never own where you're missing the mark or where you're not, taking action in the appropriate way, then you're just going to keep hitting that pattern of defeat over and over and over again, right? And then utilize this knowledge from tonight, guys. I gave it to you because I want you to use it for yourself and kind of wake up in your own mind of like, oh, that does make sense for me, but use it to support others in their journey as well, whether coaches on your team or if they're your current clients or future clients as well. Okay. So your call to action, guys, and we have some time right now. So I'd love for you to kind of think about this, and maybe we can either type it in the chat or I'll unmute us once I'm done with this screen. But I want to talk about the progress. So think for me right now, since you've become a coach, and everybody on this team has a different start date. So, you could have became a coach a month ago, a week ago, 5 years ago. Whenever you became a coach, what is the progress that you've made since you became a coach with Inspire Beauty? And then as you're thinking of that, I would love to hear what progress that you desire to take action on next. I know as you're thinking, I'll just kind of chat. Allison had been speaking about in our Girl Boss Boot Camp. She had commented that she's got BOD and she's trying out 80 Day Obsession, but there's all these programs that, you know, she's never tried before. And that's really cool. That's such a cool feeling, because when I started with Insanity, and then I did T20. No, I didn't do T25. I bought it, but I put it on the shelf. I did 21 Day Fix. And then I did T25. I got it off the shelf, brushed the dust off. And then I did T25. And then I did PiYo. And then I did Chalene Extreme. And then I did 21 Day Fix Extreme. And then I, you know, and it's like, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. And that's the coolest part, especially about having BOD, is it's all at your fingertips. So if you've already done a program, what's your next one? What's your next, like, desire? And maybe it's not fitness related. Maybe it's nutrition balanced, or maybe it's in your business habits, right? Maybe you've done Rock the Basics before, but you want to do it again because you kind of fell off the business wagon and you want to get back on with sharing that story. Or maybe you said that you would send out 3 invites every day because you have a big goal to hit, but you've really been kind of skimping on that. And so maybe that's the action you need next. So I'm going to unshare. Check out our chat while you guys are still typing. And if you want to unmute yourselves and just speak on that, that's fine. Or questions, of course. I'm going to read through this though. Spring doesn't count anyway. Yeah, it does, Mary. You're getting married in the spring, and so am I. So I totally just skipped both of our weddings.
Oops.
Skip right on past that. That move is way too
So
much.
thought about that when you said it, that you skipped both weddings. Much as I love summer, we need 2 weddings to happen.
Not important at all, right? Yeah, that move is way too hard. I love how she said that today. She said, we only have to do it one more time. I'm like, no, boo-boo. I already know next month it's going to be like holding your leg up crazy, like so hard. You're going to have to like do it like on a, like, I don't know, on a railing, one leg. Yes, Rebecca is killing everything, posting about food, posting about her. Yeah, and her voice has changed lately, you guys. She's starting to really fall into a voice, and that's, I know she's not on right now to hear this, but I hopefully she's sleeping, A. But B, hopefully she hears the replay and can hear all this, because yes, she is rocking. And Mary, you're rocking. Yes, yes. Hiked on your rest day. Hate her. Julianne asked me if I want to go hiking this weekend. I was like, no. I want a nap.
Naps are good too.
Mm-hmm. They are. Forget to have rest days.
I do too.
Wow. I wish I had that problem.
I'm afraid I get out of it, I'm not going to keep doing it.
In my planner, like, I have a sticker that says relax. Like, it's like set for me. Like, don't.
You forget, with not working since the beginning of June, I've been doing nothing but relaxing.
It's not your whole time.
It's true.
Calls.
Oh, Mary. Okay.
You must not have a paid account.
She didn't.
Yeah, and Leah, you were awesome this last week. I was just so impressed with your journey, especially getting back into the winter wellness. It was really cool to watch you.
Yeah, and jumping back in.
You rocked it, yeah.
Thank you.
I think eventually I want to get back into working the business. I'm really happy with how many things Beachbody has to offer right now. I know life is just a little too crazy, but after Jump 4 might be a good time to jump back in and really devote some time to this business. And yeah, Mary, like, that's the best part, is like, it's your journey. And what I encourage of everyone is that you never know when life is going to present you with the opportunity to be like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, it's probably just it's not going to necessarily wake up one day and you're like, okay, I'm ready to, like, it's probably going to be the course of like months or years of like this building up. And that's kind of my journey too. Like, I invite with a lot of belief and conviction in our team and in what I do as a coach and in our challenge groups. But I do that. Can you guys hear me? It says my internet's unstable.
Yes.
Okay. But I do that, you guys, because I've had years of practice. When I first started, I did not believe in Beachbody. I truly believed I might be part of a pyramid scheme, and I wasn't sure. And I didn't know if this shake was really worth the money I was spending on it. And I didn't know if the shake was even doing anything for me. And I didn't know if these stupid at-home workouts like Richard Simmons style would even help me. Like, I had no idea. And I had my own limiting beliefs about it all. And over time, though, there wasn't like a day where I was like, I believe, here I am, I believe. There are key moments in my journey that helped me. But yeah, I mean, I just encourage you, Mary, especially to share your journey right now, because that's gonna, if and when that day comes and it does seem like something for you, you have already built up so much trust with people because they've watched you, and you already are. You're rocking it. I love it. Kayla, I've jumped back into the business and I feel like I'm finally putting what I've learned to work. I have a free group that is just put together with the premise of walking, and everyone in there is from different phases of my life. It's a little surreal to me. Yeah? Kayla, you want to talk about that? Can you? I don't know if you have like child problems right now. Like sleeping children, I mean. I'm just really
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are. Go for it.
Yes.
So I guess with mine, like I've been a coach, I feel like at like maybe year 3, and I'm just now feeling like, even though like I've gone through like everything that's Brittany's offered, I just, I kept dropping off, and I would get so geared up to do it. But like now I just have this like intense feeling that like, okay, I've got my groove, and there's just this new focus with it. And I've gone before on my challenge groups, and I kind of let that keep me in that huge valley of despair. Like I would get, 5 people, and they would be really gung-ho, and then once I would, post in it, nobody would say anything no matter what I would do. And so I just kind of let that hold me back, and I was honestly scared. But like here I've got like 12 people so far on this very simple premise, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can make a difference. And
yeah. And I think the cool thing, and I'm not trying to cut you off, Kayla.
Sorry, my cat just bit.
Cat problems. And Mary's got her cat like tail in her mouth. I'm not trying to
my cat just bit my hand.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but it does say less than a minute, and I want to make sure we don't get cut off. But it's so true. And sometimes simple is better, right? Like sometimes we overcomplicate and make everything just like into something it doesn't need to be. And I love the simplicity. And I love the fact that this new energy is bringing new life to your business and just what you're doing. Charlie even paused in his scroll the other day and said, oh my gosh, did you see Kayla's post? And he was even super impressed. And I don't say he was even, I mean like, we all know, like Charlie knows you guys as well as I do, because I talk about you all the time. And so he's rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. And I'm just, I see you guys working. It's awesome. So keep up the progress, you guys. I see it. I want to snap a picture really, really fast before it cuts me off. So everybody fix your face.
Fixed as it's going to be.
I know. This is what I was wanting. All right, 3, 2, 1. I love you guys. Bring it back to the team page. I want to hear those takeaways. I'm going to ask it over there as well, okay? So I'll talk to you later. Have a great night.
Good night.